is done. Now we can finally play the game. It is the third Saturday in October, and the show is on one more time in Knoxville, Tennessee. Hyperbole is done. Now we can finally play the game. It is the third Saturday in October, and the show is on one more time in Knoxville, Tennessee.
We are live in Tallahassee, the capital of the great state of Florida.
There's no law against scalping tickets in this part of the country, and premium prices have been paid. That's Desmond Howard going in motion on second down and 5 for Michigan, playing on real grass at Michigan Stadium. Throw it to the sideline. It is intercepted. Florida State was sitting and waiting for it, and Terrell Buckley has scored a touchdown. How do you do?
56-yarder. Does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.
All the band is out on the field. He's going to go in the end zone for the play. The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California.
It's thrown out. He's going to go deep. And I mean deep. And I mean touchdown, Florida. Tyree Cleveland in a miracle finish. A Hail Mary that's full of grace for the Gators.
Barkley trying to bounce it. And does escape. Saquon Barkley in the clear. Still going. Saquon Barkley all the way to the end zone. Electric. 79 yards.
It's a 31-30 game. And what does Nebraska do?
I have not seen the kicker come on the field, and I don't think he's coming on the field. Tom Osborne made this decision a long time ago. He's decided to go for 2 and take his shot and win, and I commend him for it.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska. Incomplete.
And if in 48 seconds they become the winner, they certainly deserve to be national champions.
Here come the Seminoles of Florida State, one of the great traditions in college football, and this becoming one of the nation's favorite rivalries. It's a battle for flagging rights and recruiting advantages in the state of Florida as the Gators come calling, and Chief Osceola ready to get it started. College football. A matchup from the state of Florida. It's the Gators against the Seminoles on an overcast day in Tallahassee.
Moody flushed, throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it.
Today, we've got number 1 Seminoles against number 2 in the capital city of Tallahassee.
Yeah, the armchair quarterback. He's kind of fun and he's kind of fat. The all-American man. With a cool one in his head.
Good morning, Vietnam. How are you guys?
How we doing, McGee? It's a great day to be alive. We really have a great slate of football this weekend, in my opinion, both throughout the college and pro landscape. I can't wait. As the calendar hits November, we know one thing: football starts being that much more important, and we're seeing that right in front of us. So I can't wait to get into it today.
How are you, Joe?
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing great. I looked at the matchups. We have 5 ranked matchups today, a couple of them in the SEC, of course, as we all know, for SEC country that we're, maintaining throughout. But this is going to be awesome. You could get a lot of separation today with these games. I'm interested to see what happens. Will Georgia just pummel Missouri? Will Bama and LSU be a dogfight till the end. I'm intrigued. I'm ready to talk ball. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, football officially starts here in my house. The World Series is over, so football can begin. It was a pleasure covering the World Series, and congratulations to the Texas Rangers finally getting it done. Man, it's hard to believe they played 60-something years without getting the World Series, but they finally get their World Series. It's a little disappointing if you see their fan base. They said they had I think they said around 300,000 people for their championship parade.
Little league.
And to put that into perspective, when Atlanta won theirs, it was being guessed around 1.2, 1.3 million.
Yeah, I think the Cubs was over 1 million as
Oh,
well.
I'm sure the Cubs. Hell, it's the first one in 8 years.
I'm just saying 300,000. I mean,
people walk from Hawaii to get to that one.
It seems like 300,000 is a lot, but in retrospect, for something that's little league. But hey, kudos to them, and on to 2024 baseball season. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's just it surprised me with it being such a big city and a pretty good sports town. I was surprised, but I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't have had it on a whim like that, right? So the series ends on a Wednesday. They were going to be playing a game on a Friday night. Instead, they have the parade on a Friday afternoon. Maybe that caught people by surprise. They didn't have a chance to plan. I think they probably should have waited till Monday. Give people a chance to plan for it. But whatever, we move on, and it's like you said, Tones. We got a hell of a college football slate. Hell of an NFL. Well, I'll say this about the NFL slate. There's some really good, meat and potato games, and then there's a lot of bad appetizers. But I mean, we've got some major NFL games that are going to take place, and it's nice that there's one in each window. You've got Dolphins, Chiefs in the early 9:30, and we get an extra hour sleep. Thank God for that. You get Seattle, Baltimore at 1:00, which I think is good enough. We'll see what Seattle really has. And then the 4:00 window, you get the Eagles and the Cowboys. And then Sunday night, it's the Bills and the Bengals. So it's a nice quadruple header. You'll have to pick your spots on when you're going to get locked in. Something tells me I'm taking a nap in the 1:00 window because that is a boring ass window. But I want to be up by around. I might take a nap and make sure I'm up around the fourth quarter of the 1:00 window. So, because I'll tell you what, that Eagles Cowboys game intrigues me.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
I want to see, are the Cowboys going to go in, all this hype and whatnot. I get it, they're on the road, but hey, they've got an opportunity to go in and punch Philly in the mouth. And I want to see, to me, it comes down to Dak Prescott. Can Dak Prescott go in there, and are they going to do what they did last week, come out slinging the ball? I think
yeah,
Dallas,
and Dak Prescott.
I'm sorry, what?
No, I was just going to say, Dak Prescott, I heard a statistic while I was driving this morning. He is 19 touchdowns and 8 interceptions against the Eagles. So he usually fares pretty well, and he hasn't struggled consistently against them. But we all know how the Cowboys and Dak Prescott could be in big games. So this will be a huge test. Everybody remembers the 49ers game last from Dallas. Nobody cares about these wins they've gotten since. This is their next big test. We'll see what they can do.
I got something for you. Pay attention to first down when Dallas has the ball. And I'll tell you why I say that. Philadelphia is number 1 in the National Football League, giving up just 1.9 yards per carry on first down. Passing on first down, they rank in the bottom third of the league, giving up. So they're cramming the box. So Dallas, I think they're going to have to come out and chuck the ball around early downs. They're obviously going to have to be successful. And, the answer isn't just to throw the ball. You got to make completions. But I think I think what you're going to see from Dallas is they're going to pass to set up the run as opposed to the other way around. All right, let's get into it. And to me, the game that I want to lead off with, because it is an early kickoff, I think we got to go Notre Dame Clemson, Joey. And this one is Notre Dame's a 3-point favorite. A lot of folks are ready to give up on Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they've quite packed it in. We'll see today. Does Clemson still have the same fight they had early in the season, or has Dabo Swinney lost the locker room? But if he hasn't lost the locker room, I think that's going to be a tug of war back and forth. And to me, the number that I'm looking at the biggest that I like, man, that over can get hit with the quickness. I can see a shootout between Cade and Hartman.
Oh, absolutely. And if you ask somebody, obviously who's living and dying by Notre Dame on these Saturdays, I'm pretty nervous about this matchup just because I'm not fully to say the Clemson thing is completely dead. Now, on some social media outlets, you follow some Clemson fans, maybe it is. We'll see today how they, maybe they lay an egg. But I think this is going to be a good game. This is one of their bigger games left on the schedule. As we know, playoffs are nowhere near, not even a conference championship in their cycle. So I'm a little bit intrigued here. I think it'll be a fun game. Like you said, I expect to see a lot of points out of these quarterbacks and developing offenses that have been pretty good when it comes to scoring. So I am nervous. I do think Notre Dame will come out victorious at the end of this one, but you can't go in there flat on your, you might get run right out of the building by a Clemson team that's used to being good and things like that. So Dabo, I think, rallies the troops today, but they just come up short. I do like my Irish in a close one.
Tones, what do you like in this game?
I think it's going to be an ugly game. I think Notre Dame is really going to go in there and take their cookies, and Clemson's going to be crying for forgiveness by the time halftime comes. Listen, I've watched this Clemson team pretty much all season now, and it seems like after they put up a little bit of a tough fight against Florida State, they got a couple wins after that, and now they lost to Miami, they lost to NC State. You don't really see good Clemson teams doing that. They're 2-4 amongst their own conference, and I really think Notre Dame just goes in there, blows the doors off of Clemson. Their quarterback is terrible. Their offense has been nothing to write home about this season. I think Notre Dame has a good game. I think Notre Dame covers with ease. I like Notre Dame spread in this one a lot.
With ease, okay.
Clemson's quarterback play has just not been there this season. Usually they have a competent quarterback, one that's NFL bound one day, but Kubnik, I believe his name is, I could be pronounced Klubnik, I'm sorry. He just has not been it for Clemson. Right? He has not been it for Clemson.
You say Hushmanzada, I say Hushmanzada.
Silly, put him on the board. Champion.
Cade Klubnik is 13 touchdowns only so far this year. That just ain't going to get it done for Clemson's offense. I'm sorry.
They are a much tougher team at home. That's the key there. I feel like Notre Dame's going to find a way to pull this out. But at the same token, you go, okay, if they pull this out, then Clemson's 4-5. And you think Dabo's been salty with the media before this game? Let him have a losing record in November. Glove's gonna be off, baby. It's gonna be ugliness. I'll tell you. I'm going to side. I'll tell you what my favorite play would be if you just really wanted to. I guess it's playing safe. I don't know if you want to call it safe or not. I love a tease in this game. I love teasing Clemson, getting 9 points, thinking Notre Dame's going to win, but they won't win by more than one possession. And then also getting the over down below 40. I have a hard time going the other way and taking Notre Dame because then Notre Dame's only getting a field goal. And that's the way I feel about with Clemson. They're only getting a field goal if I just take them straight up. I feel like this is a game, either way who wins it, going to win by a possession, but is that a touchdown? Is that 4 points? I can't tell you how many times I've been screwed. You're going, oh, man, I'm getting 3.5. I'll be all right. And they lose 24-20. Go, son of a, So, but it's a fun game to start your day off with. I was a little surprised that it was a day game.
Me too. And that's coming from a Notre Dame fan. I thought that would for sure be in the 2 o'clock slot. 3 o'clock, maybe even.
And you got to love it as a Notre Dame fan, because I thought this had the possibility of being the ACC network game. I guess Notre Dame probably changes that. They want it on one of the major outlets. But I thought it had a chance of even being a night game. A night game in Death Valley is much different. What is the ESPN night game tonight? It's got to be on ranked teams.
The ABC one is Washington USC, so that's not on ESPN. I know that.
No, the ESPN.
Oh,
game.
Kansas Iowa State
Is
the ESPN night game tonight.
Kansas Iowa State.
Yep.
Oh,
7 o'clock. Eastern?
7 o'clock. Yep, 7 o'clock Eastern.
Have you lost your mind? Kansas Iowa State? I guess they don't want anybody to watch ESPN tonight.
I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh.
20 guesses, I would have never gotten that, man.
Hey, don't worry. The Fox game of the night is BYU West Virginia.
Well, Fox is always screwing up.
Yeah. They put their best game on breakfast. Yeah.
I've given up on Fox and their ability to know what the hell they're doing. Once again, it goes back to they've got that 1970s, 1980s mentality. They think if you start on your channel at noon, it's going to carry all the way through, and that just simply isn't the case. Okay, whatever. All right, let's go to the noon game on Fox. This is a good one. This is a fun one. This ought to be their night game to combat what LSU Alabama's the night game. You're talking about the Southern Cal game, a night game. If you want Fox, if you wanted viewers, you should have put Kansas State, Texas on. Instead, it's our noon kickoff. So a couple of fun games to get your day going. Texas is giving up 3.5 points. And I'll go ahead and tell you right here, I like Kansas State to cover this number. What say you? We'll start with Tones this time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Mac. I really like the brand of football that Kansas State has put together so far this college football season, especially of late. They've been getting some blowout wins last week, 41-0 against Houston. Week before that, 41-3 against TCU. Week before that, 38-21 Texas Tech. I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Texas, ever since their Oklahoma loss, they've been tiptoeing around a little bit. I like Kansas State getting the spread. I don't know if they're going to win the game outright, but I sure love them getting the points today.
Joey, what say you?
You know what? I'm going to go the opposite. I have a little Texas loving this year. Maybe it's because Cooper Manning's kid's riding the pine for them, so I'm just waiting for that day to come up big. But no, look, this should be one of the most fun games.
Man. We got some Texas loving for you, buddy.
Maybe that's why I woke up with something on my lip.
That dangerously sounds like something that could take place behind bars.
Friday night was last night. Hands up. But in all seriousness, there's so many points that could be scored in this game. I do think, though, I mean, look, Texas had their no quarterback last week with Quinn Ewers out, and they blew out BYU. I know the week before was pretty close with Houston, but I do want to keep taking the gravy train. I'm taking Texas. I'll give up the 3.5 and what I think will be a fun matchup, but I think they win by a touchdown to cover that spread.
What is the over-under on that game? Let me see. 43. 49.5.
I'm going over.
Yeah, it feels like it should be over. The thing, if you want to concentrate on something in this game, if you're kind of going into these two teams, I don't really watch these teams, what have you. Pay attention to what Kansas is doing on the ground game. That's where that game's going to be won or lost. Kansas State has been putting up big numbers on the ground, especially on first and second down, shortening the sticks, keeping them in front. And I think it's going to be an issue for Texas all day long. Texas would love to get out to an early lead, and that would probably help some things, force Kansas State into some throws. But if Kansas State sticks with their game plan, I think they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, they are going to be tough to beat. And, you know, the past couple of years, their program in general has been coming on pretty strong. So this is a big game for them. I feel like if they win this one, they're going to continue their rise in the program.
All right, let's get into we'll kind of jump around for a second because I do want to get into Penn State, Maryland before we move on to other things. Penn State is giving up. Oh, well, it's now 9. It was 8.5 this morning. Penn State is giving up 9 points to Maryland. Tons, I'm going to give you the floor on this first. A, give me your thoughts on this game. And B, we got to talk about this freaking this cheating scandal going on with Michigan. Man, the more and more that comes out of this, you as a Penn State fan, what do you want to see done?
Yeah, first and foremost, this game today, the 9 points to me is a little bit too much. I think Penn State wins by about a touchdown, 6 to 8 point range. That 9 points is a little hefty, especially after the offensive slow showing against Indiana last week. I mean, our offensive coordinator really hasn't put quarterback Drew Eller in great succession spots, although Drew Eller's had a fantastic season. He has the highest completion percentage in all of college football quarterbacks. So he's absolutely doing his part. They're just not forcing the envelope down the field with him. He's not getting his opportunities to throw deep. He does have 16 touchdowns, only 1 interception on the year. Absolutely phenomenal. But his yardage, only 1,655. That's a big red flag. I want to see this Penn State team today take their shots downfield on a Maryland defense that's been left vulnerable a couple of times this season by other Big Ten, quote-unquote, big-time battles like Ohio State and the likes. I want to see Penn State do something like that. 9 points after barely squeaking by Indiana at home, though, a little too rich for my blood. Although Maryland's faltered a little bit here lately, they still got a Tagovailoa brother, and that's going to be a tough place to play. That's going to be a tough one to win. I do think Penn State scraps it out and gets a win today by about 6 to 8 points. I'm going to go with Penn State. I'm going to go with them 28 to 22. We'll call it a 6-point victory. As far as the Michigan cheating scandal goes, this is getting more outrageous by the day. I know a couple Michigan guys that at first were kind of treating this as, oh, it's no big deal, not really nervous about it, not really scared, and it's kind of steamrolling and gaining steam by the day. And now all of a sudden it looks like Michigan could really face some harsh punishments down the road here. I think this is Harbaugh's writing on the wall. I think he's going to pull the typical college coach scandal and bail type thing, and we've seen it with guys like Pete Carroll before, and now it seems like Urban Meyer, and now Harbaugh is going to be following suit. So I think a lot stinks in that Michigan scandal. I mean, we see guys dressed on other opponents' sidelines and other teams' clothes now. We got videos coming out. This is just getting worse and worse. It's getting muddier and muddier. And to me, by the day, by the hour, and you could even break it down to by the minute, I think Michigan keeps looking worse and worse throughout the whole thing. And in fact, I think if the Big Ten keeps finding dirt on them, they might come together and they might just say, hey, until we clear these things up, Michigan's not eligible to win the Big Ten this year. I think that's how it might have to be.
So I agree with everything you said except for the very last part. I don't think Big Ten wants to mess with their money. So if you come out and you say, let's say if they came out, we'll say today, Michigan, you cheating bastards, you're not winning the Big Ten. Well, instantly that Penn State-Michigan game doesn't mean as much. No eyeballs on it, right?
I agree.
Same thing with the Michigan-Ohio State game. Now,
I should re-clarify at the end of the year, maybe. But I will say this. I heard whispers.
You can always go back and vacate, right? Which
people don't forget.
Which is garbage, man. Those vacates are garbage. No one ever goes, oh, technically, no.
Reggie Bush wasn't the Heisman, right?
Really?
Actually, you could take that one away. Screw Reggie Bush. No, just kidding.
And another thing here, though, McGee, I don't know how true they are or whatnot, but, Michigan's trying to throw Ohio State under the – kind of like when the Astros got caught, then the Yankees and Red Sox had some dirt fluff up on him. Seems like this might be a thing where a couple other teams might be on the surface after this. So I'm not sure how far this is going to go, how deep this is going to dig, but I will say this. I do agree with you. You can't call it right now, right? You got to wait, see what happens, and down the road, make a decision on what happens with Michigan.
I like what Edward says here. He's saying Rutgers money line. Man, would that shock the world?
The Fighting Chianos at home.
I do like them to cover that spread, just because I think Ohio State may be. I'm not saying that they're not going to take them serious, but I do think that they're due for a letdown. and a noon kickoff on the road in Jersey. It has all the elements of where 18.5, 19-point spread would, where whatever book you're getting. I don't see how the hell you come out of this. Right?
I like Rutgers spread a lot in this one, honestly. I think they're going to play a tight-lipped game, and Rutgers is always a physical team, and Ohio State, as you said, Magee might be sleeping here a little bit early on the road to Rutgers. That's not an easy place to play come November. It gets really cold really quick up there. I like Rutgers to at least stay competitive in this one.
And the other thing about Ohio State is as phenomenal as that defense is played, their offense isn't very good. So the only way that they blow somebody out would be methodically, and Rutgers just has to score a couple of touchdowns to stay in the conversation, and you're going to get the cover. And don't get me wrong, I've been thoroughly impressed by the Ohio State defense. I did not expect it to be as good as it is. Both y'all know firsthand, very good defense. But the offense is more. I get the sense when they have the ball on offense, the idea is let's just not screw anything up here. Like, let's not do anything dumb. Let's not shorten the field. Let's just kick the damn ball away if we have to. We'll get it back. Let's go.
Absolutely. And that's why Ohio State, you look at them, I keep waiting for that loss where they maybe screw up because of that offense. Against Notre Dame, they only had 10 points until the final play of the game. And then we all sadly know what happened there. But you could find ways to get to Ohio State. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you a big story on how Rutgers will win this game. But to not cover that 18.5, I'd be very ashamed as a Rutgers fan. I think now, I wish the weather was a little worse. Tones brought that up. It looks like it's about to be 45 to 50 with a little bit of sun. I was hoping maybe for some elements with the rain or snow, but we didn't get that today. But I fully expect Rutgers to cover, stay within that maybe 11 to 15 point range and get there, because that Ohio State offense, like you said, Mac, is not scary. They do have Harrison, but stop it when people say, give him the Heisman. It's like, no, there's plenty of people before that you could probably give it to. I think Rutgers loses, but in a closer than the experts think.
All right, next game on the docket that we move on to. So I'm going to do this chronologically so I don't skip over any of them. The Texas A&M Ole Miss game. I'm hearing a lot of pundits out there picking A&M to shock Ole Miss. Now, it is a noon game. This has all the smellings of a looky-loo. Ole Miss plays at Georgia next week. But I have a hard time seeing Jimbo Fisher going in and winning in Oxford, Mississippi. Ole Miss ranked 10th in the country. They're 7-1. If they win this game, they set up a showdown next week. Any y'all giving A&M a real shot to knock off the Rebels?
No, and I think A&M is one of those teams that is on the Jimbo Fisher notoriety train, and that's kind of why their spreads stay a little more into things. If you look at their actual schedule this year, they've lost to all the big boys, and they've lost by at least 6 points to all of the big boys they've played today, that being Miami, Alabama, and Tennessee so far this season. So I don't think they keep it any closer here. I think it's at least a 6-point win for Ole Miss in this one, just as the other big teams proved. I don't see A&M changing it up a little bit. And one thing they might need to consider is a change up of Big Jimbo running that place, because they have not had the success they thought they once would when they made that hire, and they're giving him dump trucks of money. So I like Ole Miss in this one, and that'll be a fun one next week if they are able to come out with this win and set up a big one against Georgia.
Joey, what say you?
Yeah, the look ahead game, that's the only part where I'm like, okay, they could come out a little bit flat here, right? I mean, this is a SEC game, of course, and you never know what's going to be brought to the table with Texas A&M. If they've been a little bit up and down, a little turbulence for them this season. But at the end of the day, the 3 points, I'm not going to sit here and try to say, I want to put my money on A&M to maybe come in a close game, win this thing, or get it within 3. I do think Ole Miss, as the game moves on, maybe A&M gets a touchdown early to make it 7-0. But as this game goes on, I feel like Ole Miss, they know what they need to do. They get a big win today and bring it on into Athens, Georgia next week.
I'm going with the score of Ole Miss holding on here and winning. I think it'll be competitive because the one thing that Texas A&M is going to be able to do is they will wreak havoc up front with that front seven of A&M. I just don't think they're going to be able to score. So give me Ole Miss to win this one 26-17. Joey, what's your score?
I'm going to go Ole Miss 27, A&M 17.
Ole Miss 30, A&M 14.
Oh, okay. You're like,
Wow.
man, this ain't gonna be a game at all. This is where you're going with this. Okay.
I don't think Jimbo's bringing his bags off that plane.
Noon kickoff, FS1. Nebraska is a 3-point favorite at Michigan State. This line stinks. Why is Nebraska not like a touchdown favorite in this game?
Yeah, I like Nebraska a lot in this one. They've been playing better football as the year went on. I think Big Matt Rule has his guys buying in a little bit right now. They're feeling themselves. And if Nebraska wins this one, they're bowl eligible. So I think everything's going to be on the line here for Nebraska. Meanwhile, Michigan State still has, a lot of problems going on, not only on the field, off the field. They don't even know their state of their current head coach or future head coach. Give me Nebraska all day, every day in this one. I love Nebraska today. I agree with you. The line stinks. I feel like, something might be up, but nah, I think Matt Rule and company get in there, get the job done, win by at least 6. I'm going Nebraska 24, Michigan State 14.
What do you have, Joey?
Yeah, shout out to Mike with the Nebraska fan here, as we always know. Hopefully Michigan State ain't showing pictures of Hitler today, because that's the only intimidation they might be able to oppose on this Nebraska Cornhuskers team, as they just keep screwing things up at that organization. They've lost 5 games in a row. Give me the Cornhuskers. I think it'll be a little scary close, but I'll take them winning 24-17 Cornhuskers.
I think they're going to methodically beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State, hope so. Man, they're terrible.
What a joke.
We know that Nebraska doesn't score a whole lot of points, but man, I'm seeing more something like it is in East Lansing. 27-13.
Okay.
And I might be giving Michigan State a little too much credit. I think they're terrible. They're a mess. We all know why it led to this, but I've been impressed with what Matt Rule's done. I'm pulling for Matt Rule. I like Matt Rule. I know he was out of his element in the NFL, and sometimes guys have to go into the NFL, Nick Saban, and find out that they can't coach in the NFL, Nick Saban. But nothing ever showed us when he was at Baylor that he couldn't coach college football, right? And I think he's gonna build himself a nice little program in Nebraska, but he's got to win games like this. These are the games you got to win to improve your standings as far as when it comes down to the recruiting trips, when it comes to what bowl games you're going to go to, which is going to help with the recruiting trips. If Nebraska wins this game, y'all, they're going to be 6-3. And their last 3 games are tough ones. Maryland, Wisconsin, and Iowa. So you got to make sure you win this game so you become bowl eligible.
Yes.
And then at that, now 2 of those 3 games are at home. If you can win at least one of those and finish with a 7-win season and maybe even leave the season on a high note, win your bowl game, man, 8 wins for Nebraska would be phenomenal in Matt Rule's first go around here.
Absolutely, especially after the year started. This would be a massive, like you said, it's about recruiting for next year. They're not going to be making a Big Ten championship. Get a couple of wins down the stretch, win a bowl game, and take that into next year's program.
Yeah, and I've seen him live this year on a Friday night, although it was at U of I, who's had their struggles this year. I was really impressed with the way Nebraska came to play. They pretty much shut out U of I football that night in their hometown, and since then, Matt Rule has sold me a little bit on what he's doing in Nebraska.
How in the world does Minnesota have 5 wins this year? They're 5-3 and they're 3-2 in the Big Ten.
Sheesh.
They are hosting Illinois this week.
Oh God!
They're only a 1.5 point favorite at home against Illinois.
What?
But they're 1 game away from bowl eligibility.
What do they got? A bunch.
I wonder why some of these bowls lost their pizzazz. Why people don't watch them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Minnesota?
Man, how is that 1.5? What do they have? A big injury? Because I'm telling you, Illinois stinks.
I mean, look, they did take Iowa to the wire. Granted, they lost, but they only lost by 2 in Iowa. They did to Michigan State what I expect Nebraska to do to Michigan State. They beat them 27-12.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how in the hell they're only I mean, come on. It's got to be injury related. It's got to be. I'm on their page right now. I don't see anything, but I would think there's got to be some kind of an injury.
Yeah, U of I's just had their fair share of struggles this year, never really got their gripping down. So, fact of the matter, Minnesota's given 1.5. I'll take Minnesota in that one. Give me them all day.
All right, we're going to take a quick break when we step aside. When we come back, we're going to dive some more into college football. We're also going to get into a couple of NFL picks and keep it locked in here on. Now, you'll notice that, yes, we're still on Braves Country Radio, but you'll notice that we're now on Armchair QB Radio on YouTube as well. Please like and subscribe over there. We're eventually taking this show over there. It's a long story, but they're basically wanting to separate the two. So I've got them both streaming right now, but you'll eventually see this only available on Armchair QB Radio. So we will be back in a flash. Of course, we're on all of our radio independent affiliates as well. That part's not changing. We'll be back in a flash. Keep it locked in here on WQEE and all the others here on a Saturday morning.
Is that your thing? You come into a bar, you read some obscure passage, and then pretend you pawn it off as your own idea just to impress some girls? Embarrass my friend? See, the sad thing about a guy like you is in 50 years, you're going to start doing some thinking on your own, and you're going to come up with the fact that there are 2 certainties in life. 1, don't do that. And 2, you dropped $150 grand on an education you could have got for $1.50 in late charges at the public library.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves Baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac Magee, and I'll be bringing you Braves Baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there. Pulling no punches, calling it how I see it for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves Country Baseball, first pitch to last pitch, all season long, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines 2 of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Infinium Spirits. Please enjoy responsibly.
Dixie Handle Company, 5 generations of the Strickland family have produced quality hardwood farm and garden tools, wooden shutters, and custom furniture. This small business has been owned and operated since 1992 and ships to customers across the world. If you're looking for the highest quality tool handles, Dixie Handle Company is your place. Every item is hand-picked to your specifications. If it's made of wood, they do it. Call now, 931-722-3395. That's 931-722-3395. Or go online to DixieHandle.com. The Dixie Handle Company. Welcome to Craftsmanship, a proud sponsor of Braves Country Baseball. Welcome back to Braves Country. Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekday.
Do you have any idea how much pollution a bus causes?
I don't know. 3?
3? 3 what?
Pollutions? I'm not
You're not a scientist. I get it. We're not taking the bus, though, because buses are wasteful and, more importantly, disgusting. You're just all crammed on there with a bunch of mongrels breathing directly into your mouth. There's no room. No.
Why, any fool could see he made that first down when he dived. If Howard Cosell came in
Welcome
now,
back.
he'd never get out.
Bobby joins us. Bobby, I apologize. I didn't realize it was as late as it was.
You're good.
I looked at the clock that I had in front of me, and it was 10:25. And I looked up again. I was like, it's 10:35.
It happens. All good.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing pretty good. I'll be doing better around 7 o'clock Eastern if the Florida State Seminoles pull off a W.
Shouldn't have much problem doing
Yeah,
that.
I know, but you never know, man. In Pittsburgh,
There's been some close calls this year for you guys.
Yeah, that's you know it's funny. Everyone, I think, we're scoffing about that Boston College, close call. You realize Boston College is 6-3. They're bowl eligible already, and there's 3 games left. That is a gritty team.
Wow.
They're turning on the Jets. Their quarterback, he could scramble out there, man. I forget his name.
Yes, that is the name to his game. If whoever faces him in a bowl game, the one thing I'll say is he's a pain in the ass.
He looks like a poor man's Kyler Murray out there when he was back in his college day. He really does out there. Same numbers, same everything.
And you can remove Syracuse quarterback's arm. I watched that game last night. My goodness, that guy, you could get Doug to throw it better.
He was a late start.
Okay, I was going to say.
Starting quarterback was a late scratch. They said injury, but they didn't have a reason why. I don't know if it was an illness or what, but he was in street clothes. And I had taken that game, and then I went back in again, and I saw the line drop dramatically. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
And I noticed, too, there were Fire Dino chants going on in the stadium for Dino Babers.
So I hit the original. So the original thing I had was on the normal on the original line was Boston College getting 3, and I took the under. And so I had I want to say it was 58.5 at that point, and I was getting 9. And that went from that to I doubled down on it and grabbed Boston College again. At this point, they were 1.5 point favorite, but I was getting 4.5, and I took the over on the Wyoming game. They are down 24-13. There's about 11 minutes left, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just scored a touchdown, and they're going for 2. Now, if they kick that extra point, mind you, the worst thing I'm going to do is push, right? But they're going for 2. Like, why the hell are you going for 2 to get within 9? This is the stupidest damn. And they did the Philly special, and the guy got the 2-point conversion. I was like, brilliant call, man, brilliant. It made no sense what they were doing, but they did get the 2-point conversion.
Fair enough.
I felt like they just wanted to run that play.
Hey, at least it worked.
Well, it's so damn dumb.
It is.
Like why are you doing that?
I guess maybe they wanted to, if they score another touchdown, the field goal wins it, but I don't know. I can't wrap my head around that.
I've seen teams do that, and they say, well, it's according to our sheet.
What sheet?
What sheet tells you that it's better to be down by 11 than 10?
Maybe that's why he's coaching at Wyoming.
Yes.
I mean, come on. Oh, by the way, I just pulled it because once they covered it, I went to bed. That ended up being the final score. Whew, I'd have been hot under the collar if they didn't get that 2-point conversion, and it was 24-13. I missed it by 1 point. Oh, man, I would have been hot. Oh, my God. Bobby, it starts for your Florida Gators bright and early today, noon kickoff, home against Arkansas. Arkansas is going to be coming off a bye. They have changed offensive coordinators. What's your level of confidence for a 1 through 10 that Florida gets the W today?
I mean, we've looked so much better at home this year than we have on the road, and we're playing a bad Arkansas team. I'm fairly confident that we win this game. I know the line's not that big in our favor, but I think we'll get out of here with a win.
I agree.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm taking this as my lock of the day.
Ooh.
Florida Gators win this game. I think they got thoroughly embarrassed last week against Georgia, and I think they're going to feel like they're going to. I would love this much more if it was a little later kick because I hate taking the early kicks for college kids. You're still talking about a 20-year-old kid who might have been up doing things he shouldn't have been doing Friday night. But man, I just got to feel like they're going to come out focused. It looks like it's going to be beautiful weather there, 70 degrees. I don't see how Arkansas is going to go in on the road and beat Florida in the swamp. I just don't see it.
If this was a road game, I could see a path to victory for Arkansas, but we've looked a lot better at home than we have on the road this season. I'm with you on that. I just don't see us losing this one.
I mean, this is a team. Now I will say this. This is a team that took Ole Miss and Alabama to the wire.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell that happened, I do not know.
And that may be why the line's so close.
And, I didn't realize this, but they also took LSU to the wire at LSU. So they've got a lot of moral victories.
I just don't think it's a competitive game. It's not a walk in the park.
I just don't think they're going to get a win today. They got a lot of moral victories. I mean, Mississippi State, they lose that at home 7-3. My God, I had that game. I was actually watching that game. That was one of the most brutal football games I've watched in my lifetime.
This is going to be the best 2-win season ever.
Well, I had the spread. I'd listened to this chucklehead who was swearing up and down that the way to go on this was to take – I'm trying to remember how it was. I think it was Arkansas on the points and take the over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the time the fourth quarter hit, you knew the over wasn't hitting. It was 7-3 for Christ's sake. I think the over was like around 40. I'm like, I can't see a path to this thing hitting.
Both the LSU and Alabama games, they lost by a field goal. The Ole Miss game, they lost by 7. So they're a competitive team.
That's what I'm saying. Like they've had some close losses. They lost to BYU. Not that BYU's any good this year, but they lost to BYU by a touchdown.
Every game they've lost has been by one possession. They have some solid losses
because they're not any good. I'm just wondering if they're like Captain Looky Loo, like they're constantly playing teams that aren't taking him seriously.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, I watched Jefferson behind center a couple of weeks ago. That was pitiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our next game coming up is the LSU game down in Louisiana. So
don't get caught on the looky-loo and get your freaking teeth kicked in by damn Arkansas.
If we lose, it better not be our teeth getting kicked in. That would be embarrassing. If we got stomped by Arkansas.
Well, I'm talking about a 1 point victory for Arkansas is getting your teeth kicked in.
That's fair.
What are they, 2-6 this year?
Yes.
They're competitive. They've been competitive in all of their games this year, but they're not a good team. So no excuse for losing this one.
They've got 4 moral victories. That's not quite enough to
it's like being the tallest midget. Florida by 30.
That's well put. That's I don't know if 4 moral victories plus 2 real victories makes you bowl eligible, but what's your score, Bobby? The over under is 49.5.
I'd take the under.
Score?
Give me 24. I'll do a weird score. 24-19 Florida.
Ooh.
It may even be lower scoring than that. It's at least from the Arkansas side. I think Florida wins this one like 23-10.
Yeah. I think we pound the rock. I think we run quite a bit.
I'm a little concerned about how big of a sieve that Florida defense has been, but I'm with you, man. I like the under in this one.
But with how that Mississippi State game went, no.
I love the idea of teasing this. You get Florida in points, and then you push the over under to a 55.5.
Yeah. I like that.
I mean, literally, I just watched them lose a game 7-3 at home. How the hell are they 50 points? And you would have thought that the forward pass was something foreign that they just created the week before. Both teams. That was a bad football game. Tennessee is a 35-point favorite against UConn. Are they covering that spread?
UConn's horrible, so I would say
they
yes.
are.
And they're at home. I don't know. And I mean, Tennessee, this isn't like an early in the season game. I don't know why Tennessee's playing UConn in week 10. I can't wrap my head around that, but here we are.
It's one of those late, sometimes you'll play these like the week before a big game.
Yeah.
But I think it's because Tennessee plays, I know they play Georgia on the 18th.
Yeah.
So they don't have I'm assuming this is homecoming for them. They don't have a homecoming opponent in late November. It would be early November.
I guess that makes sense. Well, I think they have a good homecoming game. I think they smoked UConn.
UConn's had some pretty good moral victories. They only lost by 3 to South Florida, 7 to Boston College. They lost by 1 to whatever USU is. Utah State.
That's not a good loss, though.
You know what? I don't have morals. Morals were thrown out the window. Give me Tennessee by a 50 burger.
They lost to Duke by 34. They lost to Georgia State by 21.
You guys don't have
Tennessee's
faith in Jim Mora Jr.? Come on.
Is that where he's at now?
UConn, yep.
And they beat Rice. They beat Rice, though.
Ooh, I can go for some Rice.
UConn is terrible.
Yeah, North Carolina's playing
Campbell. Give me Tennessee easily.
North Carolina's playing Campbell. Where the heck is Campbell University? I'm sorry for anybody if they're listening and knows where that is, but like some of these games today, you're right. I know how they throw in these bad ones, but oh my goodness. Jeez.
I do want to hit a couple of games in the National Football League, and then we'll bounce back into college football.
And more.
Bucks, Texans. Tones. Let's get your thoughts and predictions on that one real quick. Houston's a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 39.5.
While the Texans are on their fourth center, their interior O-line continues to get diminished. Damian Pierce is missing this matchup. Robert Woods is missing this matchup. Their second tight end is missing this matchup. They're going to be hindered offensively greatly, and the Bucs get Vita Vea back defensively as well, which is a huge step up for this Bucs defense. If you know Bucs football, you know our pass rush, for better or for worse, sadly, starts with Vita Vea. So the pressure he's going to bring up the middle on a four-string center, I cannot wait to see that. I know a lot of people are sleeping on the Bucs right now. That's why they have the spread at 3. But if you watch that Houston-Carolina game last week, my Lord, this Texans offense hit new level lows last week, and I think this Bucs defense has a chance at a breakout game. No Bucs defensive back that starts. Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, Antoine Winfield, or Ryan Neal have a dang interception this year. I think that changes tomorrow. I think this team comes out with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They're pretty much written off in terms of not only the national media, but the local Tampa media has written them off dang near to this point. And I know Houston's been feisty at times this year, but the more that O-line gets banged up, the worse C.J. Stroud looks out there. And I think with Vita Vea coming back, I think this edge rush unit really feasts tomorrow. And Rachaad White looks a little bit better each week, especially out of the passing game. I think we've done a nice job at realizing Rashaad's more of a scat back, screen back, and we've been getting him involved with that more and more. I like the Bucs getting the points on the road in this one. Season's on the line. You got to avoid the sinking ship at this point. You lose 4 in a row, you could pretty much pack it in at that point, although they are in the NFC South. Never say never, but you can't afford a 4-game losing streak in the middle of your season if you're serious about contending for the playoffs. Right now, we're in contention for not only the NFC South, but that 7 wild card seed. I don't think the Texans are playing football for this year. I think they're building for a future. I think it's a feisty game. I think it's a gritty game. I think Bucs pull out a close one. I would take the Bucs with the points on the road, and I think the over barely squeaks by in this one as well.
All right, and then real quick, Joey, what's your pick on the Colts Panthers?
Oh, you're telling me the Frank Reich revenge game? Everyone's talking Cowboys Eagles. Nah. We ain't here to talk Cowboys Eagles. We got Frank
revenge game. Yeah, why is this not prime time? What's going on here?
It is the Colts' only 3 o'clock 4 o'clock Eastern game this year. We have 0 prime time. We have 1 game in Germany. They're shipping us off to play New England where everyone's going to sleep in. This is the game of the year for Indianapolis and Carolina. We are going to come.
Why is that a 4 o'clock game? That is so weird.
I don't know, but they might as well put Jeff Saturday in the booth so he can announce the whole thing, because at this point, it is a must-win for Indianapolis. If we don't give the ball in all seriousness, to Jonathan Taylor 30 times tomorrow, this guy's hitting his peak. For you fantasy owners out there, if you have Taylor, good for you. If you have Moss, it's going to start to go down. This is Taylor's time. Give me the Colts by 7.
You know what I'm starting to realize? Those 4:05 Eastern kickoffs are kind of the sneak-in game. It's like, let's put something on for those teams that end noon early, but I feel like nowadays they save the bigger ones for 4:25. Heck, I'll be all in on Colts Panthers, but I'm just saying, every time I see a 4:05 kickoff, I'm thinking, geez, Alou, it's like 1-3 against 3-5. You know, it's just 4:05 is a new non-prime time, in my opinion.
Well, they do that so that there's a game starting early, but your quote unquote game of the day is 4:25, because they want to make sure everything's wrapped up before Eagles and Cowboys kick off. So they're doing that just to make sure they've got some kind of filler, and like all the games don't end early and you go, what the hell do we do here for 20 minutes, right?
I do personally I miss when it was 4:15. I think every kickoff just should have been at 4:15 or 4:25. I hate the 4:05 because sometimes the noon game you're watching, the 1 o'clock game you're watching ain't done yet, and it just creates a mess.
Well, don't worry, you won't miss much.
You know what? In fact, if they want to start that Colts Panthers game at 2:30, I'm fine with
it. Today.
I'm all in, baby. I'm sold. This one's going to be a gritty one. It's going to be Frank Reich crying in a brown bag at the end of it.
All right, let's get back into the college football. The big one of the night: Rice hosts LSU, Alabama.
Stop it!
You were speaking my language there for a minute.
I know.
There's nothing worse.
Stupid underdog pick.
There's nothing worse than when you get to Tone's house with 4 TVs, and he has the best game on the 32-inch, and all the 60-inchers have on Rice versus Hampton, and Campbell versus San Jose State.
I'm sorry I had Boston College Syracuse on, and you wanted wrestling on. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
That's for another show.
I got 8 prop bets. Shut up.
Money talks. That's
Alabama,
what I tell him.
3-point spread, 7:45 kickoff in Tuscaloosa. Is anyone giving Alabama? Well, I should say it the other way. Is anyone giving LSU a shot in hell of pulling this off?
Of course. I think they're much better on offense. Jaden Daniels has looked great this year. And they went in there and they won last year against Alabama. This is definitely a winnable game for them this year. I think Alabama's going to get it done at home, especially because they're playing for more. Their playoff hopes are actually still alive. But I think LSU is going to be competitive.
Both teams' playoff hopes are alive.
Yeah, I see it's harder for a 2-win team to get in. I mean, LSU can pull it off. If they beat Alabama today, they go on and miraculously win the SEC championship.
LSU runs the table, wins the SEC, knocking out Georgia in the national title. I mean, in the SEC championship game. You're trying to tell me they're not going to find a way to shoehorn them into the playoffs?
With that resume, yes, they'll probably get in. But it's beating Georgia is a lot less likely than them beating Alabama today.
Brian Kelly's doing everything he can to expose Michigan.
Make no mistake about it. This is a playoff game tonight. The loser's gone. The winner is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to look at Jordan Daniels, who he's in that Heisman watch right now. So everybody's going to be watching.
Jaden Daniels is in the Heisman watch too, but yeah.
Well, tomato, whoever the heck I just said. That's how much I hate Brian Kelly and this team. But no, all due respect, Daniels. Sorry for butchering your first name. You're in the Heisman watch. You want me to get your first name correct? You're going to have a big game tonight. You want me to call you Jordan next week? You flop like a cookie. So we'll see.
If you like Daniels to win the Heisman, jump on it today for that game. Because if he goes into Alabama and beats Alabama, his stock's going to rise, which means I don't know what it is. I want to say it's 9-1 right now is the last one I heard. But let's just say it is 9-1. It's going to drop down to like 3-1, 4-1 odds.
He's not going to push Michael Penix out of that top spot, but he'll be right up there with him.
That's what we think, but Penix has been really bad the last couple of games.
Yeah. I think it's going to take a Washington loss for him to drop out.
I think they lose tonight at USC.
That could very well happen.
I think. I'm not sure.
USC is mincemeat.
I know, Tony. But I'm just saying, it's on the road. It's possible.
Joe, you're going to hate my lock. You're going to hate my lock.
Okay.
Well, as much as people are killing Southern Cal for their defense, let's not forget, Washington gave up 33 to Stanford last week. Ooh.
Their defense, it's not great, but it's capable. I think it's enough to hold USC from not getting 60, and I think they'll outscore USC. I think they should be winning for Washington.
I'll put it to you this way. I think the winner of that game is the team that probably has the ball last. I don't think either one of these teams have a very good defense.
I trust Washington's defense a lot more than USC's.
Yeah, I've watched USC the past couple of weeks. I've had them in some bets, and their defense is easily the worst in that whole conference. I'm talking worse than Colorado's, worse than Stanford's, worse than anyone's. USC's is literally trash.
Joey, do you have USC winning this game?
You know what? Let's do it. I have USC in a close game tonight. It's going to go to overtime. I think we get one of those classics where we're a couple overtimes deep and it's still getting chippy. I do think USC will pull this off. Let's go. I'm going to go high scoring as all heck, obviously. I'll go like 49-46 USC.
So essentially we're split because I feel like Tones and Bobby are saying Washington's going to win. I think Southern Cal is going to win. I'll definitely take the 3 points.
Look, I will say I do get the vibe, with a lot of Pac-12 teams, their playoff hopes are high. They look like they're about to cruise to a playoff spot, and then they blow it late in the season.
Yes. Like USC last year. Remember, USC did that last year. I think they were all but set.
Oregon's done it before too. It's like clockwork every
year.
But
I will say Washington has been there before. So if any of these teams are going to pull through, I think it'll be Washington. That's why I give me Washington 56-35. I think
we got Doug joining us here, and I guess we'll go ahead and start the stupid underdog picks and everything because I don't see. Wait a minute, is he just joining? There he is. All right.
Hey, the six.
This is how we all became the Brady Bunch.
Here's a story about a lovely lady.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me see if I can. Man, this is going to get messy trying to put this on the screen, but we're going to try it.
Don't even worry about it if you're putting our locks up.
Well, let me see if I can get this thing. Well, that's not the one I was looking for. Steven, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about y'all?
We're rocking and rolling here. We've talked some great college ball, a great slate of football all weekend, brother.
Yes, sir.
Your Dolphins start us off tomorrow. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, man, that is going to be a game. I don't know if it's going to be like a 70-point game or just like a 35-point defensive shootout.
What's interesting in that one is that Miami got there early, and that usually pegs better for teams. Chiefs got there late. Wonder if that will play any factor, but I've been hearing a lot of talk on that. I kind of like Miami tomorrow.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be. I think it's going to be, like probably the AFC Championship game, just depending on how the season goes. I mean, like really Buffalo and Cincinnati are the only other two main ones in that the AFC, and they really haven't impressed at all this season. I don't think Baltimore has has enough to keep up, but no, it's going to be a great showdown tomorrow. I'm really excited for it.
Yep.
And the last time those two teams dueled, Tua and Mahomes put on a show. I think it was like 8 touchdowns combined between them.
Yeah. I like Miami's chances tomorrow, though. I know Chiefs don't lose back-to-back often, but you never know what happens in those London games, and I think Miami's way of traveling was a little bit more appealing.
So that line's gone down to 1.5 Kansas City. I got it early in the week when Miami was a 3-point underdog.
Good.
I just don't think Kansas City's going to win that game. I just don't.
That's what worries me. We're all on Miami, it seems. That's the thing that worries.
I'll be the contrarian. I'll take the Chiefs.
Okay, there we go, Bobby. needed somebody.
He's just doing that because he's a Swiftie.
Whatever.
All right, let's go ahead and do the stupid underdog picks. Let's see. We start off with, let's see, who is in dead last? Is it still Bobby? Yeah, Bobby. Bobby, what is your stupid underdog pick?
Tones, plug your ears. I'm sorry. I'm going to take Maryland plus 8.5 here. We saw last week, I know they ended up winning by 9, which is a 2-possession game, but that game came down to the wire for Penn State against the bad Indiana team, I believe it was. And Maryland's a lot better than them. I don't know. I'm not so sure that Maryland's going to go out there and get a win, especially because Penn State got caught sleeping last week. So I don't think they'll let that happen again. But I think this will be a competitive game. So give me Maryland plus 8.5.
All right, next one on the docket, if I've got this right, is we'll go with Stephen Troche.
Well, yeah, I'm 8 points down. I need a Hail Mary here. So I'm going to go into, like the east side of North Carolina. Give me the East Carolina Pirates over to Tulane. They are 17-point underdog. They really have not looked impressive this year. Tulane is just one of those teams, though, that, like every time you feel like they gain some momentum, it just the rails kind of fall off. I'm really liking ECU for the upset here. And it's one of those scenarios where Tulane's got 51% of the tickets. ECU has 90% of the money. So someone threw their whole life savings on ECU today.
Tones, what you got?
Need to get off the schneid here after hitting Wyoming and FIU early on in the year. I haven't hit anything here. Give me North Texas getting 8 at home against the fighting Tony Agolini's, the UTSA. That game's at 3:00 Eastern time. North Texas could put up points or get an 8 at home. Hey, I always like home teams and stupid underdog. I'll ride with them, get an 8.
North Texas plus 8. And I get to do my weekly search. Go, what the hell conference is this playing? Score.
Come on.
Jones.
The Mean Green, baby. Let's go.
Who's after that? Doug, what you got?
I'm taking Kansas State to beat Texas today. Even though they're playing in Texas, Kansas State's still looking like the team that won the Big 12 championship last year.
Okay. So Kansas State getting 3.5?
Yeah.
Take that. I am going to swing for the fences because what the hell, man? Why not? Give me. It's down to 15. All right, I'll still take it. Give me the Missouri Tigers. Mizzou. Probably not much of a chance of this happening, but boy, if it does, I want to be on the right side of it. Missouri getting 15. I think they're going to score some points. I just don't know if they're going to be able to stop Georgia. But what the hell, man? If I can get 15, I'm back in this baby. And where are we at? Joey, what you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take a swing, too, with everybody's favorite prime time. I think tonight everybody's dead on Colorado. The fun stuff is over. Not so fast, my friends, tonight at home. Shout out to Lee Corso. They're getting 12.5 points. I think they take down the Oregon State Beavers. Colorado give me as my super underdog.
Man, you have been dying on that hill all week long, all year long. We're going to have to get you a Dion jersey or something, man. You've been dying on that.
Hey, I'm just going to flat out lay there if I have to, my man. I'll do what it is.
Joey, I know you got to take off. I already
got my
here.
Jeff Saturday shirt.
Joey, what is your lock?
I'm going to go to the National Football League where Atlanta is coming off a couple of road games. For you Georgia people listening, they're giving up 3.5 to a backup quarterback. Dobbs will not play this week. I think Atlanta's a lock at home, -3.5. I think they pummel Minnesota in that weird game where Minnesota doesn't really know what they want to do at quarterback until Dobbs learns the playbook. So give me Atlanta -3.5.
I saw a thing where they were talking about, how you have to update your injury report and you have to put a reason why the guy's on the injury report. And Dobbs' reason to be on the injury report was literally they put in there, he just got here. I'm sure they'll update.
I saw that.
But that's whoever was in charge of putting that. That's who they put. That's what they put for his reasoning being on the injury report. All right, brother. What is your one big thing as you walk us off?
I just want to say, this week we, of course, lost a good one in Bobby Knight, one of the best, most historic coaches in all of the land, any sport, anytime, any day, anywhere. I hate some people who give him some negative stuff. Sometimes I get it, not on everyone's favorite side. But when it comes down to coaching, this man did it, going back to Indiana and before, of course, going all the way up to Texas Tech. Give this man his credit. Rest in peace, Mr. Bobby Knight at 83.
Yeah, I mean, there's no need to pile on after the guy, kicks the bucket.
Exactly.
Cheap shots.
If anything you wanted to say about Bobby Knight, you've had about 20 years to say about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I there was a part of me that really despised him early on, and then because he became such a villain, I almost started rooting for him when he was at Texas Tech, which is strange because I didn't like his bully mentality, but it got to the point where I felt like the bully was being bullied by ESPN and other outlets. All right, brother. Good luck to your boys tomorrow. Is
Frank Reich revenge game. Don't watch Cowboys Eagles. We got Frank Reich revenge.
The game of the week. All right. All right. We'll go ahead and take this thing down so we can get everyone back in here. Tones, by the way, before I forget, what is your lock?
My lock is going to be actually Spencer Rattler and the South Carolina Gamecocks today. They've had a down year, but they played Jacksonville State today. We've talked about some beat-up games today. This is a game where Rattler could earn some of his draft stock back after it's fallen a little bit so far to start the season. They were supposed to be one of the better teams in their conference this year. We just haven't seen that so far. They're laying 14.5 at home against Rich Rodriguez and Jacksonville.
It's 15.5 right now. Are you still wanting it?
Yeah, I'll still take it. Line moved, must have had something happen, but I'll still take it. I think South Carolina beats up a little bit on Jacksonville State today. Rich Rodriguez has been a fun story with Jacksonville State, but I think South Carolina's due to trounce on someone a little bit.
All right, so college football, the game of the night, LSU, Alabama. Doug, we haven't gotten your take on it. Steven, we ain't gotten your take on it. Give me some scores and predictions on this. Doug, we'll start with you.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Repeat it. My thing went out.
Steven, give me your scores and prediction on LSU, Alabama, and then Doug, you can follow suit.
Okay.
I mean, this is usually this would be like I'd be Alabama all the way. Just like LSU never really can was able to ever get over the hump with Saban in Alabama. I really like LSU this year. It's hard for me to say it, but they have the best offense in the country. They're 7-2 against the spread on the season, and this Alabama defense is not what we're used to seeing. I really think LSU has a chance to pull off the upset. Give me in a high-scoring affair, 42-35.
The over is only 62.5, by the way. How about that? Doug, what say you on this one?
Again, like Steve was saying, normally I'd have Alabama going all the way, but not this time around. That, like you said, that Bama defense is bad. I think LSU is going to win this game. I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be a little bit closer, a little less scoring, but I've got it like 35-31 LSU.
Man, everyone's on the LSU train. It makes me think I really need to put a lot of money on Alabama tonight. My biggest question with that whole game is, how does LSU slow down Alabama? Because their defense has been a sieve this year. And I get it that they're going to be able to score. If you're the LSU defense, hear me out on this one. I know their secondary sucks, right? Blah, blah, blah. But if you're the LSU defensive coordinator, would you not just blitz like hell all game long
Yep.
in the hopes that there are turnovers or sacks or what have you that can get you just a couple of extra possessions that Alabama may not get?
Yeah. I mean, they can force Jalen Milroe to make mistakes. They can do that.
Well, because I guess what my theory is, you're going to give up points anyways.
Yeah.
So why not just bring the damn house? And then if for some reason it doesn't work out, then, fair enough. You'll just get Daniels back out there on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying this earlier. I mean, Alabama's very outmatched on offense. We know that. LSU is one of, if not the best offenses in the country. But LSU's defense is horrible. Alabama could just carve it up. But I like that strategy. If they just send heat at Jalen Milroe, try and force them to make mistakes, and then if they win the turnover battle, they could win this game.
All right, real quick, round robin. We're gonna hit some scores. We'll do LSU Alabama real quick, and then we're gonna rifle through some college football games. LSU Alabama. State your score again, Stephen.
42-35 Tigers.
42-35. Doug, what'd you have? 35-31 Tigers?
Yes.
Tones, what's your score?
I'm going with 30-27 Alabama. I think Alabama ends up winning this one. I think they're the more superior team. They got the better coach. They got the better talent. Give me Alabama.
So you like the under. Okay. Bobby, what's your score?
I'm going to go 35-34 Alabama. I think it's going to be one of the best games of the year.
Oh, wow. So
I think it's going to be a good one.
So now we're split.
It's up to you.
Well, just like the game, I mean, it could go either way. So
it's only because it's in Alabama. I'm going to take the Tide, but they're not going to roll. They're going to find a way to get past LSU. There ain't going to be no roll Tide. It's going to be a crawl Tide. I really think it's going to be a damn shootout. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't even know if I like Alabama to cover the spread. So I'm going to give you a half-ass answer. Give me Alabama to win this one, but not cover the spread 41-40. LSU goes for 2 on the final play and doesn't get the damn thing.
And Brian Kelly's crying.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
And Joey and other Notre Dame fans are happy.
Doug and Joey are doing jazz hands.
Yeah,
Missouri and Georgia, the hunker down, you hairy dogs in Athens. They come off of a rivalry game with Florida where they looked very good. They're coming home now. Could this be a letdown game? They've got Ole Miss on the horizon. They got to go to Knoxville. Missouri is ranked number 12 in the country. It's not like you would be overlooking them because you don't think they're any good. You could just be coming in flat. Georgia is giving up 15 points. Steven, what you got on this one?
I think Georgia's going to cover the spread, but it's not going to be very impressive. I'm torn on this game. I think it's going to end up being like a 17-point difference, so somewhere in the range of like, what would that be, like 35 to 17 or something like that. Like it's just going to cover the spread, but it's not going to be a very impressive game for Georgia.
All right. Bobby, what say you?
I'm going to go with Missouri to cover. We saw when the Georgia-Kentucky game happened, I thought Georgia turned a corner. I thought they were going to start looking like the Georgia of the last couple of years where they're rolling through every team. But then they go and have a fairly competitive game against Vanderbilt. That was bad. They blew out Florida last week. I think they come back down to earth a little bit against a solid Missouri team. So I picked Missouri to cover. I'm going to go with 21-34 Georgia.
Tones, what say you?
I think Missouri covers this one, and if people remember last year, Missouri should have actually beat Georgia early on in the season. I think it was week 5 or week 6. Missouri had some self-inflicted wounds in that one to cost themselves a game at home. It was at home against Georgia, which makes a difference. I do think Missouri covers today, and I think this one comes down to the wire with Missouri upsetting them on a game-winning field goal attempt. Give me Missouri in this one. I think Georgia suffers her first loss in a very long time today. I got Missouri winning as time expires 33-30 over Georgia.
Doug, what say you?
I think Georgia's going to win. I mean, they're going to win ugly, but I mean, this is one I bet against the spread, and I have Georgia winning 27-20.
I took Missouri as my stupid underdog, but it literally was a dart throw. I do believe Georgia's going to win. I don't even know if I love taking Missouri in the points because Georgia's the type of team that's just going to methodically beat your brains in. But I do like that. I do like the quarterback receiver combination that Missouri has. They're just going to have to find a way to keep moving the chains and keep Georgia on their heels. If they're going to have any shot in hell at this game, Missouri's got to get out early and often. Give me Missouri to win this game. I'm only saying that because it's my stupid underdog pick. But if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to score some points, right? There's no way they're going to keep Georgia down. So give me Missouri to win this game, 30 to 24. 30 to 24. Missouri Tigers hold on for dear life. And then it gets real topsy-turvy in the SEC because Missouri would have the inside track, and they still have a lot of games in front of them. Although, all that being said, that there's probably no way in hell that's happening. I'd say Georgia's probably going to be on cruise control. It feels like when I put all that money on that freaking Arkansas game a couple of years ago, and Georgia was beating them to death in the first quarter. It was like 28-0. I hadn't even microwaved my burrito yet. I go, what the hell, man? This is ridiculous. A couple other SEC games that we have not really talked a great deal about, not getting the predictions. A&M, Ole Miss, noon kickoff, ESPN. Trosh, what say you on this one?
I think Ole Miss is going to end up pulling it out. I don't know if you've seen it, but like a lot of books have odds on the first coach to be fired this year, like the big coaches, and Jimbo's at the top of that list. And I don't think they get the win this week, and it's really going to light the fire under that under his seat.
If Pittman doesn't have a much better showing, it could be him around 4:00 Eastern.
Yeah,
because Arkansas, man. But yeah, I could see. Well, the thing about that buyout for Jimbo Fisher, man, I guess they're just printing money in Texas, but that buyout for Jimbo Fisher is absurd. Bobby, what is your prediction on Jimbo versus Kiffin?
I'm giving it to Kiffin. I think they're going to defend home turf. I think they're going to get a win here. I like the spread too for Ole Miss at 3 points. I think they'll cover that. I just don't have a whole lot of confidence in them.
What's the score?
Let's see. I'll go 28-20. 28-20 Ole Miss.
Doug, what say you?
I'm going to go against the grain. I think Jimbo gets his win and keeps his job. I got Texas A&M winning this game. This was one of my upset alerts for the week, but I mean, I think it'll be a close game. I don't think they even covered the spread. I got Texas A&M winning this 27-28 or 28-27 rather.
Tones, what say you?
Yeah, I got Ole Miss taking care of business at home today. I don't think Jimbo takes his bags off the plane. I got Ole Miss winning by a couple touchdowns at home.
I tell you what, though, I will say, you see number 10 in the rankings. You see them only a 3-point favorite at home. You think Ole Miss is going to cruise. This could be a trap line. I'm just saying.
Well, plus,
yeah, that's why I was going against the grain.
Well, plus the other big factor is they go to Georgia next week.
Mm.
Is this a looky-loo? Are they overlooking A&M on a noon kickoff at home, just assuming they're going to – because if you look at A&M on tape, you're probably not scaring a whole hell of a lot of people, right?
No.
But, man, that could be a dangerous, dangerous game.
Yeah, that line, it looks like a trap, but I'm going to go with logic here. I'm going to pick Ole Miss.
It's a trap.
Next game of interest on the board. We will let's get out of the SEC because that's pretty much it as far as SEC games go. Top 25 action. Kansas State, Texas. I don't think we've gotten everyone's score on this. Kansas State, Texas. This should be a good one. Tones, what you got?
I got Kansas State winning this one in a close one. I think Texas, ever since they did drop that one to Oklahoma, they barely beat Houston the week after, and they beat up on not the best BYU squad that we've seen over the decade or so, where BYU's become relevant again. I think Kansas State's been playing a really good brand of ball the past 2+ years, and I think they're on their way to becoming one of the more established type teams around the entire country. And I like Kansas State winning a close one today. I think Texas can't find their footing. Give me Kansas State in this one. I'll go with 31-26.
Trish, what say you?
Well, I'm going to go against the grain here, and I think Texas ends up pulling it off. They're kind of like things that fall apart a little bit after that Oklahoma game, but they bounced back with 2 wins over Houston and BYU, and it's with the over under at 49. I think it's going to be like an under, so a lower scoring game. So give me 24-20. Texas, so they're barely covering the spread.
Doug?
Yeah, well, this was my upset pick. Like I said, Kansas State looks like they're in the same championship form they were last year. It's it's going to be a low-scoring game, though, but Steven swiped my score. I thought it was going to be 24-20 as well.
Bobby?
Just the other way around.
I'm gonna get Texas to win this game. Texas, they still have hope for the season. They're still a 1-loss team. They're still alive. Kansas State's been playing good, and I know Texas is on a little bit of a downward trajectory right now with how they've been playing lately. But I think they hold on. I think they win a close game at home today. I'm gonna go 34-30.
I like Kansas State to win this one. I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game, to be honest with you. I think this is Big 12 action. Yeah. It's going to be roller skates by the fourth quarter, be going up and down the field. Give me Kansas State to shock Texas, rock Texas in Austin, straight off of that World Series championship. Texas is going to be in the pits again. Give me the Kansas State 35-31. I think what you're going to get throughout the game is you're going to see Texas give up chunk yards to that ground game, and that eventually has an effect on you.
Well, if you're what do you say, 35-31?
Yeah,
you should be throwing everything at the over. Then it's only a 49.5.
Right? No, I mean, when the hell have you ever seen a big time Big 12 game go into a freaking slobber knocker?
True.
I think you got a fighting chance. If you take Kansas State and you take the over and you tease both of them, I think you got a really damn good chance of making some money there.
Okay.
Anywho, see, what other games have we not hit up on before Tones has to jump off of here?
Well, we didn't get to Washington USC.
NFL, Tones. Let's go ahead and do this one. The big game. Vikings, Falcons, Dolphins, Chiefs. Dolphins, Chiefs, 9:30 kickoff. What's your score? What you got?
Give me the Fins in this one. I've loved the brand of ball that the Dolphins have been able to play this year outside of a couple of tough losses against the Eagles and the Bills. And really, it's been one of those things where I think they're going to be right there when it's all said and done in the AFC. Miami, I really believe in them, and they got Jalen Ramsey back now, and I think their defense is going to continue to grow off of that. And their offense, Mike McDaniel's one of the more better offensive minds around the league. His run scheme calling is insane. His 1-gap, 2-gap runs, A-gap, B-gap runs. He's just an incredible offensive mind. I think he out-schemes Andy Reid and the Chiefs in this one. I got Mike McDaniel winning this thing and the Miami Dolphins winning this thing. Tua's just been playing incredible football. He really doesn't get the credit he's deserved as well. When he's healthy, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I'm going with Miami winning this game. Give me Miami in this one. Let's roll with 28-17. to 23. Miami wins, and a little bit of an ugly German game, I should say. The first game ever in Frankfurt, Germany, I believe. So it'll be a fun one. But Miami wins an ugly one. Give me the Dolphins.
Doug, what say you?
I'm probably going to be the unpopular person saying this, but I've got Kansas City winning this game. Not that I don't believe in the Dolphins. It's just the fact that I've been watching a lot of Kansas City football, and I've never seen referees get involved in another team's games as much as they do. I have a bad feeling the officiating is going to kind of bring in the fix, and I think Kansas City's going to win. It's going to be close. I got them winning 28-20. The Chiefs winning 28-24.
Bobby?
Especially what's her name's going to be there.
Bobby, what say you?
I think it's going to be a back and forth game. I think by the end, both defenses are going to be tired out. And I trust Mahomes in that Chiefs offense. I know the Dolphins have a little bit more weapons at their disposal on offense, but I trust the Chiefs to get it done here. I'm going to go 31-28 Chiefs in a shootout.
All right, Steven. This is your team. These are your boys. How's it going to go down?
Doug really laid out the thing I'm worried about the most. If anybody paid attention to that, to the Dolphins game against the Eagles, that was some of the worst officiating the NFL has seen.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get anything close to that, we could see a Chiefs win. Taking that factor out of the game, I really like the Dolphins are just a better team at this point. That Mahomes was sick last week. That you combine that with the travel, is he going to be 100%? That offense really just hasn't fully clicked yet outside of the Chargers game, which everyone's offense kind of clicks against the Chargers. It's just, the given at this point. I do think the Dolphins pull out the win. It's going to be a high-scoring affair. Give me 35-28.
Miami 42, Chiefs 24. I think it's going to be that big of a butt kicking. I heard that they're going to put Ramsey on Travis Kelce, mainly because who else do they have? I think if you want a great bet, Tyreek Hill to score touchdowns minus 130 right now. I think that is incredibly low because I think he's going to have a revenge game, and I think I think they're going to find 100 different ways to get him in the damn end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like so one of the things that you look at when you look at Miami is how quick they get the ball out, right? And how fast they are from the snap to the release. And they're obviously the best in the game at that. On the flip side of that, Kansas City, 28th in the league on timed pressures, meaning how long it takes for them to get at the quarterback. They get a lot of pressures because normally what happens is their secondary is buying them time and they eventually get to the quarterback. That's not going to be the case with Tua. Tua is going to make his decision. He's going to get rid of the damn ball one way or the other, and I think Miami's going to feast on that. I might be blowing her over a little bit, but I say, what the hell? Let's take the shock and awe. Let's get it. Let's take Miami to win this one 42-24 in a laugher.
Gotta watch out for that Taylor Swift effect, though.
She's on tour. We're good.
Oh, I thought she was going to this game before she was going to the next part of her tour, going to her South American tour.
I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Which scares me that I know her itinerary for her South American dates.
What?
I said, which frightens me that I actually know when she's going on tour in South America.
It really frightens me that Doug knows when.
Yes.
Bones, what is your one big thing as you walk off?
One big thing is this, football aside a minute, Marcus Stroman opted out of his Cubs deal, which I believe to be a blessing for the Cubs after the year he had last year, often banged up, often underperforming. So saves the Cubs $21 million, happy about that. But in terms of the gridiron, watch out for the NFC South on Sunday. A lot of tight matchups. You got Carolina with the Colts, you got Falcons with the Vikings, although their QB's banged up, Bucks at Texans. And even though Saints are home against the Bears, I don't think that's quite the gimme some people expect. I think the NFC South is going to play a little bit of a musical chairs in the standings.
What is the one big thing?
Watch out for the NFC South to play musical chairs in their standings come Monday. I think who's at the top right now won't be at the top come Monday.
There's probably a good chance that everybody takes an L and we'll
everybody wins or everybody loses or no in between. You know, it seems like when they all win, they all win.
NFC South is under the impression that this is golf and the lowest score wins.
Pretty much, man. I mean, it's felt that way for a year and a half now, pretty much.
By the way, how about Will Levis, baby? There's hope in Nashville. There is hope in Nashville. The Mayo man is bringing it. I know he didn't get the win on Thursday night, but that was 3 days of preparation, blah blah blah. I still thought he threw. I thought he played a very good game.
My final word. But yeah, I like him. I mean, he's shown more than Malik Willis has ever had in his Tennessee career to this point.
The throw that makes him different. That you say, damn, I'm looking at something different than what I've seen in Tannehill the last 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
The throw that he had from the end zone, I think it was second long, third long, whatever the hell it was, where he barely put the ball over the defender's shoulder right into the hands of D-Hop for like a 17-yard bullet. That's that right there. Like, I know they're always going to pull up the bombs and all that stuff and, all the great long throws because that's what, the highlight reels are made of. But that throw, when I saw that, I was like, damn, we got a quarterback in Nashville. We're not just screwing around this time. So and thank God there won't be this big question. I don't know, should they re-sign Tannehill?
Well, what would be tragic is if Tannehill comes back from that injury and they start him. That would be extremely unfortunate.
I'll tell you what would be tragic in my world if they re-sign Tannehill and the Braves re-sign Colin McHugh. I'd be like, son of a...
If Tannehill plays another snap in a Titans uniform.
No, Tannehill's actually going to sign with the Braves.
Okay. He can't do any worse out there in left field in the playoffs. I know that much.
Hey, man, that's on you.
All right, Tones. We'll see you next time.
See you guys. Hope you guys all have a great weekend.
We're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into some more football picks as we're taking to the top of the hour kickoff. Heading your way. Keep it locked in here on your CBS affiliate. And, of course, we're on YouTube, Braves Country Radio, and now on Armchair QB Radio here on YouTube.
Are you going to sit down?
Shoot, no. I'm gonna let you guys do what you guys gotta do. Don't worry about me. I'm just gonna go home, make a little macaroni and cheese, seal the window, and turn on the gas.
I'm just there till my divorce is final.
Now, who is coconuts enough to divorce you?
We gotta go, but we'll see you around.
Well, we'll have to have you over sometime.
I'd love it.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. She's awesome.
No, we are never having her over. Heard she already slept with 2 dads from the school.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's horrible.
Whenever I bring home Entenmann's Little Bites muffins.
Little Bites?
That's right, sweetie. Can you just give Mommy a minute?
I love Little Bites.
I know you do, but we're doing a commercial right now, okay?
Got it.
As I was saying, whenever I bring home you-know-who gets pretty excited. And so do I. Little Bites muffins are made with real ingredients, no high-fructose corn syrup, and are baked moist and delicious.
I love Little Bites.
Here you go.
Yes.
Entenmann's Little Bites muffins. The perfect portion of happiness.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of The Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Hey, does any of y'all know when the employee Christmas party is for the self-checkout at Walmart?
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The All-American man.
Welcome back. Anyone got any crazy parlays that they're doing this weekend? Long teasers, parlays, anything like that?
I just submitted a four-leg one. It's a 9-point teaser with Liberty at -4.5, Army plus 27.5, ECU plus 26, and then Utah -1.
I'll tell you what I like a lot is if you're wanting to tease something, the Army Air Force under. Because it's sitting right now, I think at 32, I think is where it's at. So if you tease that, there's no path for that game to get into the 40s. There just isn't. Army, if y'all have not watched Army football this year, you are missing nothing. It is, I mean, it is literally running up the middle and hope like hell the clock runs out. And Air Force is just methodical, but they're not exploding. You know, there's been years past where Air Force is putting the ball up all over the place, or they're running a very, very backwards version, but a very good version of an RPO, almost like a wishbone. This year, man, I've watched 2 Air Force games, and they are just brutal. And they're going to take on Army, who is brutal. And I'm telling you, the under, man, bang that under all day long. Anyone else?
Again, I'm taking the Army side of that game. I think they're plus 18.5 right now. You know, like especially with the over under that low. If you're like betting the under, it's going to be really hard for Air Force to cover that.
Yeah, what is the line on that?
18.5.
18.5, yeah. I don't know, man. If you've seen Army's offense, just don't put too much on it.
Yeah.
That's this is one of those things where you're like, how the hell are they 18-point favorites when they're only supposed to be 32-point score? Yeah, man, they got to win. This will cover easy. And then you see the final score, and somehow it's 24-2. You're like, dude, what the hell? Doug, do you got any crazy parlays or Bobby?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
I'll tell you one of the teasers I like: Kansas State, Clemson, and the Clemson Notre Dame over. Just take them all. Because I think Kansas State is being undervalued because it's at.
What's the line on that Clemson Notre Dame game? For
the
point
the
total?
line is 3.
Or the point total. Sorry.
Point total. Let me see if it's at 43 right now. It's actually gone down. It was 43.5 this morning. It's gone down to 43. I don't see that. I really don't. I don't see where that game is going to be that low scoring.
Yeah.
Here, you want something crazy?
Always.
3-leg parlay. Army, Washington, and Maryland all to win to plus 5,000. YOLO.
I think Army is the least likely, probably.
Yeah, that is definitely a YOLO. That's
you asked for crazy. You didn't ask for a good bet.
It's one of those ones where our buddy Sean will tell us that he went all in, then you finally put $1 on it. You're like, dude, would you quit bothering me with this? Like, you're not even gonna cover the gas bill with that, man. Just stop it. That video that I sent you and Sean earlier this week, though, man, I know Sean said he laughed like hell, dude. I busted a gut when I saw it. The one with the 2 puppets that are sitting there, and the wife's yapping, and he's getting really intense and looking in the camera, and the caption reads, "Me and my wife sitting down to watch Monday Night Football. Little does she know that I put this month's mortgage on the over."
Oh god.
Yeah. Who hasn't had like some big bet where you're trying not to let your significant other know how big it is? You're like, son of a gun, what the hell have I done? I bet against the Chiefs. Doug was right with the stupid refs. Any college game that we have not hit that y'all want to hit up real quick before we dive into the NFL again?
Yeah, we already got on Washington, USC. I think we're good. I'm good.
We're on the same page.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive into the National Football League. Some interesting games. We already talked about Dolphins and Chiefs. We'll push past that one. By the way, I know what I was going to start this week, and I totally forgot about it. I'll get the guys' pick after this. I wanted to start a Survivor with us. Okay. Sit here. What are we in? Is this week 9?
Week
Week 9.
Week 9 in the NFL.
So that gives us a much better chance of having at least one guy left by week 12. If we start in week 9. Survivor picks. Now, obviously, this is a different slate compared to folks who've been playing this all year, because once you pick a team, you can't go with that team again. Those are the Survivor rules. But we'll go ahead and hit this. Steven, who is your Survivor pick?
I mean, this is an easy one for me. Saints. They're at home against the Bears. Still no Justin Fields. That offense just can't do anything. Saints, and the Saints offense is really starting to come together as of late. I don't see them losing this week.
All right, Bobby, what is your Survivor pick?
I'm going in the same direction. We're either advancing or sinking together. I'm going to go with the Saints as well. I just don't see the Bears winning this. Kamara's been playing great lately. They've been using him a lot. And the Bears are just terrible. Point blank.
All right. So, Doug, that sends it to you.
It seems to be a unanimous Survivor pick, because I got the Saints winning this week too.
I mean, there's only 2 big favorites this week, and it's the Browns and the Saints.
I told you this is going to be a really short segment we do.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Bears.
I better pray the Saints win.
Everyone's eliminated.
I thought everyone would be going with the Falcons. That's why I went the Saints, trying to mix it up.
All right. Well, since y'all are going that route, I'm gonna. All right. Since y'all are going that route, I'm gonna have to pick another team because I want to make sure we're not all eliminated after week 1. Give me the Browns at home. I can't imagine Cardinals are going to put many points up on the board trading away Dobbs.
The only thing that scares me, though, is when a backup comes in that teams don't have any film on. We saw it with Dobbs when he came in. He actually looked good, and then as the season progressed, he started to look terrible. If Clayton Tune comes out there and looks halfway decent, I don't think we'll win, but we can make this game competitive.
Yeah, but I'm going to side on the fact that it's in Cleveland. That defensive front's going to get after them. I don't think it'll be an ugly win. I mean, a pretty win, because none of the Cleveland wins are pretty.
No.
I just think that they'll find a way to get all I'm trying to do is get the job done.
Yeah.
And I'm going off a point spread, 11.5 points. And plus, I also look at it this way. I don't think Cleveland's the greatest thing in the world because of their offensive woes. So this is a team I don't want to go to the well again later on, so I'm getting them out of the way.
Sure.
Who the hell knows if I decide I need to go Saints because they're playing, God forbid they put Ritter back in the lineup for the Falcons. They're going in there to play the Saints. So that's kind of my mentality. Plus, if I get knocked out, then I can just sit back and watch y'all. So I'll get Tones and Joey's picks here in a bit and share them. Rams Packers. What are we hearing? Is Stafford going to play or not?
Earlier in the week, it didn't seem too likely. I'm not sure where it's at right now.
I think he's truly a game time decision. We're not going to know until closer.
What's your gut telling you? That they're saying that because they know he's not going to play, so they're just trying to screw with him? Or here's my thought process on it. If we find out he's not playing, had Rippon had a great week of practice, they probably just let him sit out. I'm thinking he had a bad week of practice, and they're going, we're going to be a game time decision. So if Stafford ends up not playing, man, pour that money on the Packers. I know it's scary because Jordan Love stinks, but they are at home, and it is West Coast, East Coast.
Okay, my gut feeling is he's going to sit. So it's they're going into Green Bay. They have a bye week coming up after this, and then after that, they have a divisional game against the Seahawks. They're going to want him healthy for that. I don't see Stafford playing this week unless he feels like 100%.
What you're taking this game? Because I'm saying take it the Packers all day long because I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah, I Packers are due for some regression. I mean, Love has been bad. The defense has been bad, but if there's no one on offense to throw to, I mean, Kyron Williams is out. If Stafford's out, there's talks of Puka Nacua being out.
Yep.
I can easily see Green Bay winning this one.
Yeah, Jordan Love's been pretty terrible as of late, but with how banged up the Rams are, it's hard to bet against them.
Anyone giving the Rams a chance if Stafford doesn't play?
I'll give him a chance just because Jordan Love's on the other team, and he's been terrible, but I'm not too confident. I think it's going to be a stinker of a game.
I'm tired of hearing Packers fans complain about their quarterback. Like, look here, dude. They've had
enough decades of success
quarterback play. You're due for at least a couple of bad seasons.
At least.
Man, I'll tell you what. You've either got the marquee games like Seattle Ravens, or you got Commanders and Patriots. I mean, there's no in between this week in this slate. Seattle is getting 6 in Baltimore. Anyone giving Seattle a chance here?
I don't mind them covering. I think Seahawks have been competitive this year. They're still a good team. So I could definitely see them covering. I'd give the Ravens the edge in this one, though. I think they'll win.
This feels like a Baltimore beatdown.
Mm.
West Coast, East Coast.
That's true.
What is the 56 degrees? That's
56 and sunny. I mean, that's not.
Baltimore needed like 32 degrees and rain. That's what they need to sit where like Seattle gets off the plane. Goes, I don't want to be here.
Seattle's used to that rain, though. To be fair.
Yeah, like 32 degrees and rain is Seattle. 90%
That is Seattle. Yeah,
that's home for them.
Does it get that cold?
It gets cold up
Seattle.
Up in Washington. They're right up next to Canada.
I'm not even gonna answer that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, they're
this time of year. Yeah, definitely.
What is Seattle's weather this time of year?
Rainy always.
Seattle.
57 right now. 57 and rainy.
Yep.
Yeah, so 32, 57, that's a big difference.
Well, it's 56 out in Baltimore, so it won't be much different than what they're.
I knew that. It's also sunny. I'm saying that what they needed was 32 and rainy. And you got the time difference, which lays into my theory that guys just give up and go.
I think that West Coast, East Coast travel is going to be a much bigger factor than weather.
I guarantee it's a factor. Arizona, Cleveland.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
It's 50. I don't know what it's going to be like tomorrow, but it's 50. But if the wind's coming off the lakes, it's real easy for an Arizona boy to go, yeah, I'm good, man. I got this hammy thing that I need to. I think I need to go into the tent.
Yeah, I don't think
Kyler Murray might not come back this week. The weather's like that. He might take another week off.
And Arizona might be tanking to begin with. That's another reason why I took Cleveland, because let's say Arizona has the lead in the fourth quarter. They might get a call from the owners. Go, what are you doing, man?
Might pull a Giants week 2 game. We're up like 30 points. And just blow it.
Would you stop it?
Better not draft Caleb Williams, though. I'm off that. I'm done.
I don't think you can. I think you would tank to get the number 1 pick to trade it away.
Yeah. I would like to trade back to number 2, grab Marvin Harrison Jr., pick up some draft capital in the process. That would be ideal scenario. I don't want to pick Caleb. What I've seen this year against like halfway decent defenses has scared me a lot. And the fact that he's having all these demands, it's just get me away from him.
It's the demands thing for me that I don't like.
It's ridiculous.
It smells like, it feels like that you could get a prima donna in there.
Yeah.
But
I know people make a lot of say what you want. They're pretty baseless claims about Kyler Murray being a diva. You want to see a diva? Draft Caleb Williams. Watch that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll really hate it.
By the way, Joey's taking the Colts. Tones is taking the Browns.
I'm not surprised.
Ballsy pick, my friend, the Colts.
Does he know that we can pick any team? Every team is available?
I assume so.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's all fun and games till he ends up being the only team. Let's get some locks in here. Doug, what is your lock of the day?
My lock of the day, take the Raiders over the Giants.
What's the line on that one?
2, I think.
2, -2.
-2. It's going to be an ugly win, but a win because, and I would be my one big thing too, I guess I'll put that together, is we are free at last. Joyce McLoser is gone. You don't know how good it feels right now that I have that fool in that building. him and Ziegler and Lombardi. So that's the reason I have them beating the Giants is because who are the Giants going to prepare for? It's not going to be the same team.
My
with
question
Antonio
to you would
Pierce.
be, will Jim Harbaugh bring Connor with him to steal signs or
True.
because I think he's jumping ship and going to the Raiders.
Yeah. I can see him
Oh,
going
yeah.
on Michigan.
Yeah, because with that situation with that steal calling and the Raiders needing a coach, it's just like Pete Carroll back in the day when he took his first NFL job. Because when Pete Carroll was at USC, they had a scandal going on there too. And he just before the NCAA started laying down fines against USC, he jumped ship, went to I think he went to the Jets. Was his first coaching job in NFL. And he was like, I don't know. I'm with the Jets. I don't know what's going on. And Harbaugh will do the same thing.
I can see it.
Bobby, what is your lock?
My lock, I'm going to go Washington -3 against USC. I think this game will be fairly close. I think it'll be back and forth. But I think Washington just has them outmatched. I think USC's defense is terrible. I don't think they'll be able to slow down Washington. And I think Washington's defense is not good, but capable enough to win them the game over USC. Give me Washington -3 on the road.
My lock for folks that didn't hear it earlier, I'm taking the Gators -3 at home against Arkansas.
You've been good on the lock, so I appreciate that, sir.
They should at least win that 11-7, right? That spread. Steven, what is your lock?
Like we talked a little bit about it earlier. We got a Frank Reich revenge game in Carolina. Over under on that game is 44, and I think it is going to be a shootout. Bryce Young is starting to turn the corner. Thielen is looking great on that offense. Chuba Hubbard is getting he's the starter now. There's no more Miles Sanders. And I think we're also due for a big Jonathan Taylor breakout game. 44 points just seems like way too little. It's going to be a 50-point plus game out there.
You know, there's only one team in the NFL, speaking of point score, that has scored 20 points or more in every single football game. Any guess to who that team is?
Not the Dolphins.
Something stupid like Tennessee.
Indianapolis Colts.
Really?
Indianapolis Colts have scored 20 points in every game. The only team to do it.
They've also given up 37, 38, and 39
Well, there's
points.
a reason why there's more
games.
points. They're
Yeah,
trying
it
to
gives
play
me a bit
catch
of
up.
confidence with the over. I like that pick next.
They're trying to play catch up, man. They're trying
Yeah.
to play catch up. So my point is, I like the pick.
Yeah.
And you quit dogging Tennessee, man. I've been telling you how the damn Dolphins are going to beat Kansas City.
I was just saying that from what we've seen, it wouldn't make sense.
Our quarterback search is over. We got Will Levis. We got Mayonnaise Man. He's in the building. Steven, what is your one big thing?
One big thing, I'm kind of on the same side with Bobby. Washington is going to go in there and thrash USC, and it is going to be the end of their hopes. And I think Caleb Williams has a number 1 overall pick.
Wow.
Bobby, what is your one big thing?
My one big thing, I think Alabama's going to kill LSU's playoff hopes. Any hope they had left to make the playoffs, they're going to be gone tonight. I think Alabama's going to keep theirs alive with a win at home against LSU in a very competitive game. I think this will end up being one of the best games of the year.
My one big thing, Louisville punches their ticket to the ACC championship game tonight with this afternoon with a win against Virginia Tech at home. With that win, they would secure the ACC championship game. How about that?
Look at Joey. We all doubted it. We all doubted his Louisville pick.
They were my pick to get to the ACC title game.
I doubted it. I had my.
It really only came down to their schedule. They avoided a lot of the big boys this year.
Yeah.
They do play Miami in a couple of weeks, but they'll have it sewn up by then.
Yeah.
Well, they should. Let's put it that way. Who the hell knows? They're playing Virginia and Virginia Tech next 2 weeks.
I imagine they do it.
We've seen crazier things. But that's there you go. There you have that. All right, kickoff is just about to hit. We're going to jump out of here. Good luck to your teams unless you're playing mine. And what the hell? What is he doing there? I forget his name, but the comedian, I call him TikTok comedian.
Oh, Nate Bargatze.
Yeah, he's at the game.
I think he's the guest picker.
I thought he was from Tennessee because he's always referencing things in Tennessee.
Yeah,
but maybe
he's lived in Tennessee and New York, I think.
Where are they at today?
Would it be for the Alabama LSU game? I don't know.
You're in Alabama. He must be an Alabama or LSU fan.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Because he's always talking about being in the state of Tennessee and blah blah blah. You know what he is? One of those damn Walmart Alabama fans like they got all over the state of Tennessee. Well, I pulled for him because Dad pulled for him because Grandpa pulled for him. Yeah, because they've always been good, you jackasses.
Yeah, at least be real about why you're rooting for him.
Exactly. There's a reason why later on tonight I'll be singing that song loud and proud if LSU pulls off the W. I hate Alabama. I hate Crimson Red. We'll see you next week, guys.